Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. In this video, I want to teach you guys how to safeguard your own crypto. Obviously, due to what's been happening over the last few months with Celsius and Voyager and many others, it is time to learn how to safeguard your crypto. Many of you guys have been dependent on centralized exchanges and centralized platforms. And I know that that is the easiest thing to do, to just have your crypto residing within, and you log in with a password and username, and that's it. But right now, I think with what has happened with ITrustCapital, their downfall with Celsius and Voyager and many others, it is time for you to learn how to safeguard your own crypto. So I'm going to replay a video that I created back in November. It's a very, very good video that talks about, first of all, how to secure your centralized exchange accounts like Coinbase and Gemini Kraken utilizing two-factor authentication in case you haven't done that yet. And also, I go over some wallets, hardware wallets, non-custodial mobile wallets, browser wallets, and even native wallets. All kinds of wallets that helps you safeguard your own crypto so you are not dependent on these centralized services or centralized platforms or centralized exchanges that may get hacked or freeze you out of your account or simply lock you out, right? So it's a very good video overall. Even though I created it back in November of 2021, it's still relevant today. One last thing before I get started, let me remind you guys that on CryptosRUs.com, my website, there are many useful how to use articles or how to use guides. For example, how do you use a Ledger cold wallet? This one tells you exactly. This article goes through step by step teaching you how to use a Ledger wallet. Same thing. If you want to learn about Trust Wallet, okay? Step-by-step guide in terms of how to set up Trust Wallet. And even exchanges. There are many guides on how to utilize exchanges. For example, Coinbase. How to utilize Coinbase. How to send and receive crypto, right? And even Coinbase's own wallet, Coinbase Wallet, which is also a non-custodial mobile wallet. There's a guide for that too. So I want to let you guys know that CryptosRUs.com isn't just a fancy name. It's not just a news site, but it has many useful articles that pretty much covers all wallets and all devices and all exchanges out there. So make sure you utilize it because it's absolutely free, and make sure you utilize it so you can learn and learn and learn and learn. All right, with that said, enjoy the video. It's not a very sexy thing, but I get asked this all the time. You know, in Q&A, even in Patreon, in emails, in tweets, people are like, hey, where do I store my crypto? What's the best way to safeguard my crypto? You know, what should I do? Should I leave it on exchanges? Are they safe? You know, there's a lot of people that's in the space that's relatively new, so they don't really know. So I'm just going to go over the basics. And just a few that I've used that I think are pretty darn good. This is not the end-all, be-all list because there are so many wallets out there, so many universal wallets, so many wallets in general. So this is just a basic few, okay? First of all, let's talk about exchanges. So a lot of you guys, when you get started, you go directly to Coinbase, something like Coinbase. It could be Coinbase, it could be Gemini, it could be Kraken, it could be any centralized exchange out there. So let's start with the basics. So these exchanges, they're called custodial wallets, meaning that the private key that allows you to access your crypto is safeguarded by them. They control it. So this is, in many people's eyes, is not safe. That you don't, if you don't control your keys, you don't control your crypto, right? But obviously, these are big known, well-known exchanges that has been around for a while, especially the ones in the US, heavily looked at by the regulators because they do a lot with money and crypto. So obviously, there's a lot that is being looked at. Also, they utilize custody services, which are just companies that basically store your crypto. They utilize a lot of them that actually does have insurance in case they are hacked or something like that. But bottom line is, they're custodial wallets, which means that they give you a username and password, and with that, you get to access your crypto, right within Coinbase or Gemini, Kraken, wherever. Now, if you want to safeguard yourself, the very first thing, and they even tell you to do this, besides the password, you have to get a second layer of authentication called two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, usually in the form of an app like Google Authenticator or Authy. Okay, and what that does is it just basically generates a code and it changes like every 10, 13 seconds or 15 seconds. And you need to enter that before you get access. So in case someone steals your password, they still can't get into your account. And this is important. This is very, very, very important because a lot of times your email gets hacked. Okay, for whatever reason, if you're using Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, whatever, a lot of times they get hacked. And if you don't have two-factor authentication turned on, you simply have a password and the hacker clicks on forget password and sends a reset password link to your email, which if they have access to, they can reset and go in. So it's very, very, very important that you get two-factor authentication put on right away. Like right away, you download an app called Google Authenticator two-factor. There's a barcode that is scanned, and that's it. Really, you just need to add that layer of protection. So if you do add that, then you're somewhat secure. Like I said, these are big exchanges. It's not unknown exchanges that's somewhere around the world that you don't know of, which could pull an exit scam like the one from Canada last year. I forgot which one it is. It was a relatively big one. People thought it was safe, but they pulled an exit scam. But like the ones in the US, I believe a little bit more based on what I said before. And if you have two-factor authentication turned on, right, then I would say your sense of security does go up a little bit, okay? So I don't expect Coinbase to pull an exit scam. That's just not possible in my opinion. They're just not going to do it. But can they get hacked? Yes. But because they have so much funding and they use a custody service to store their crypto, most likely insurance will pay for it and they will recover it. But is there a chance that could happen? Yes. Can they freeze or lock your account? That's a very, very, very likely chance. We have heard that from many people, that they just all of a sudden they freeze your account or lock you out or terminate you. But usually when they terminate you, they will just allow you to withdraw. But if they freeze your account, then unfortunately you can't do anything. You have to open a support ticket and you have to wait and wait and wait and wait before they get back to you, right? So there are still downsides, even though you might not lose any crypto. There are still downsides of keeping your crypto on there, right? So that is the most basic. So you have to choose. If you're a newcomer, you don't want to deal with wallets, you just want to keep it on Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken, you can choose to do that. If you have two-factor authentication turned on, most likely you're pretty protected. However, you still have to worry about other things. You still have to worry about if your account gets frozen or suspended. There's still things you have to worry about. So once you're in this space for a while, it's best to move it off. But I get if you're new, you're still learning. Okay, so you'll leave it on there. That's okay, but just turn on two-factor authentication. Now, when you're ready to move off, that's where you have a plethora of choices. And by the way, there's something else I didn't mention. Florida State Chris. Shout out to Florida State Chris. By the way, I didn't mention something like Coinbase is different than, say, Robinhood or any of the other brokerages that offer crypto trading and buying. Okay, and that's because, PayPal, like PayPal and Robinhood. With those, you could also buy Bitcoin and limited number of crypto, but you can't withdraw out. That's the difference. So those are considered custodial wallets where you can't even withdraw, right? So that's also a limitation. With something like Coinbase, again, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, Voyager, for the most part, you can withdraw. So that's a big difference between, like, say, a financial app and an exchange. Okay. So with all that, that's just the basics, okay? Very basics. Now, if you want to withdraw out and you want to secure your own crypto, right? So you want to go from a custodial crypto to a non-custodial, custodial wallet to a non-custodial wallet. You have many, 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 many options. If you want the most secure, then you go with a hardware wallet. And really, there's two that is widely used by most in the community. Number one is a company called Ledger. Ledger has been around for quite some time, and they really just have two products, the X and the S. The S is the very basic one like this, where you could basically have 3 different kind of wallets, and the X, you could have multiple, like dozens upon dozens of wallets. And it's the best way to think about it is just a USB key. And what's secure about this is it's a cold storage wallet. So without getting too technical, just think about cold storage as anything that you could unplug from the internet. Because this is a USB device, when you need to use it, you plug into your computer and then it turns on. When you don't need it, you unplug, meaning that there's no Wi-Fi connection, there's no Bluetooth connection, there's no kind of internet connection that has access to it, so that if a hacker tries to hack in, it's impossible. They physically have to be there. They physically have to have it in their hands and plug it in. Now, there's another layer of protection. There's a PIN code that's on here. So even if they do have it on hand and they plug it in, it doesn't work without a PIN code, which you set on there. So by default, there's already like 2 layers of protection on there. And when you use it with the software, with the Ledger Live software, there's another layer, which is a password and username, right? So there's 3 layers of protection on there. And this is why it's the most secure wallet out there, because you have 3 layers of protection and it's considered a cold wallet, meaning that you can unplug anytime. Now, with this kind of wallet, you do control your own private key. So it's very safe. I mean, it's very crucial that you secure your recovery phrase, because with this, they give you a recovery phrase, and that allows you to have access to your private key. And that's very important, because if you ever lose this device, or it breaks, or it gets stolen, you'll be able to buy another one and recover to a new device. But if you lose that recovery phrase, then you are dead in the water. You are dead in the water. So that's the biggest drawback to having your own wallet. If you become your own bank and you control your own funds, there is no recourse. If you forget that recovery phrase, and let's say you forget your password or something like that, something silly like that, you're done. You can't access your crypto. And you guys have probably seen stories where someone said, like they said, oh, I forgot my password. But they have only like 9 tries, or 10 tries, and they're down to their 8th try, right? Those are extremely, like, they chose like some kind of extreme way to protect their private key. So that's a little bit different. This case, it's still very important that you have to have that recovery phrase written down, or it's also known as a seed phrase. You have to have that, and that is the most important thing. So you have to secure that. You either memorize in your head, or you put it into a bank vault or something, because if you lose that, then you could be in dead in the water if something ever happens to your hardware device. So there are benefits and drawbacks, but Ledger, these hardware wallets are considered the most secure way to store your crypto. Besides Ledger, there's also Trezor, which sound very similar, Trezor, and they both support a wide variety of crypto out there. So anything that's ERC20 based, it's covered. Now BSC with Binance Smart Chain is covered. And they have just a ton more. You can see right here, 1,000 crypto that could be stored on Trezor, and a similar with Ledger. Okay, so these two are, I would argue, the most secure. Now, there are other forms of this too. There are new players that's in the game that has similar things. You know, there are ones where they give you like a metal card where you can put your seed phrase or recovery phrase on, right? So in case of a fire, it'll still be okay. So there are many different variants of this, but the 2 major ones is Ledger and Trezor. Okay. Now, if you wanted something that was a little bit easier to use, yet almost as secure. I say almost, but not as secure, is a non-custodial mobile wallet. And that is something like a Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is very widely used, and this is, I think, the most popular universal wallet out there. So you could download this on your Android device or iOS, right? And it does store the private key within your phone. And it also gives you a recovery phrase or C phrase that you can secure. So in case your phone gets lost, it gets damaged, you need to restore, you can. So they'll give you a way to do that, okay? And what's also nice is this is a universal wallet. So it's just like if you're using Coinbase or just like you're using Gemini, you could send and receive really easily. And there's also a dApp browser, which means that if you wanted to take advantage of AMMs like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, you could download an app and make transactions with your Trust Wallet and those AMMs straight from your wallet. So you don't have to go to the browser to make a trade. So there are many benefits to something like a Trust Wallet. Not only that, they have built-in so you could buy crypto with a credit card too, right? And it allows you to store your private key, and basically it could do it all. I mean, in terms of the number of crypto supports is vast, thousands too. Not every single one, but they support thousands of crypto on there. Now, why this is not as good as a hardware wallet is because this is not considered a cold wallet. This is still considered a hot wallet because it's on your phone. And your phone, most likely, is connected to the internet 24/7, right? So unless you put your phone in airplane mode all the time, there is a chance that maybe they somehow hack your phone and get access to your private key. There's a small little chance, but it's still there. So a hardware wallet is still the most secure, and something like this, a non-custodial mobile wallet, is kind of like the second most secure. It's definitely in between. I have not heard of anyone say that their phone was hijacked and their Trust Wallet was breached because of it. I haven't heard of that before. Knock on wood. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or if it's really possible. Theoretically, it is. But this is what a lot of people use instead. Now, because of this, there's there's just many benefits, and there's many that's very similar. So if you are a Coinbase user, Coinbase has their own wallet called the Coinbase Wallet. And don't confuse this with the wallet that's in Coinbase. This is actually a separate app, a non-custodial wallet that you can use just like Trust Wallet. It's basically the biggest competition to Trust Wallet. But the advantage of this is you can link up your Coinbase account, so you could transfer your crypto from Coinbase to here really easy. They allow you to just swap really easy. They also have a dApp marketplace just like Trust Wallet, so that you can access dApps like Uniswap directly from within, although they don't support PancakeSwap. Okay, so this also exists. And in terms of these kind of non-custodial wallets, there's a ton out there. Like Clever is another one that I could think of. Engine has their own. There's so many out there, and there's very different kinds. So this is not the end-all be-all list, but most people utilize or have heard of Trust Wallet and also Coinbase Wallet. And I have used both of these, and they're quite good. And what I also like about Trust Wallet is they allow you to create different wallets very easily. So if you wanted to create one, I don't know, just for ERC20 stuff, and another one for BSC stuff, and another one for Bitcoin, you could create multiple wallets within the same app very easily. With Coinbase Wallet, not so much. All right, so hardware wallet, and then you have these non-custodial mobile wallets, which are hot wallets, not cold wallets. Although I guess if you turn airplane mode on, they could become cold wallets. So next up is there's three other kinds. And then you have something else that's a really basic thing called like My Ether wallet. And there's many others too that you could create, like a paper wallet. Basically, it's not an app. It's just a really simple to use website that will create a wallet address for you. And again, it'll give you a password, and you can access that wallet through a number of ways. You could download the private key. You could have some other recovery phrase. You could have you could download a file, right? There's a lot of things. My Ether wallet used to be very popular. it used to be very popular, because if you want to invest in ICOs and ERC20 stuff, then you would just create a MyEther wallet and transfer within. However, since MetaMask came out, they kind of been replaced. I don't really hear anyone really talking about MyEther wallet too. Now, MetaMask, I know a lot of you guys have heard of before and used. And this is a wallet that's built in to your browser, like your Chrome browser or Brave browser. And this is the one that all these AMMs use. When you go to, let's just go to Uniswap, for example. You go to an AMM and you want to utilize it, the first thing they tell you to do is connect a wallet, right? So you can connect like your MetaMask. But there's also various kinds. There's Wallet Connect, Formatic, Portis. I have not used any of those. And this one also integrates well with Coinbase Wallet, because Coinbase is an investor in Uniswap, but not a lot of them have Coinbase Wallet. But yeah, a lot of people utilize MetaMask because it's just easy. You could transfer in, transfer out. Yeah, and you could also store collectibles like NFTs and stuff. I don't use MetaMask that much because I don't use AMMs that much. But this is another form of wallet that, yes, that basically is non-custodial. You have a recovery file in this case, and yeah, this is another kind. So if you want to participate in like these AMMs, you have to use something like this. I mean, you could use MetaMask as a normal wallet too, but it's just very cumbersome, very cumbersome. And lastly is just native wallets. So a lot of the projects that you guys are supporting, they have their own wallet. For example, if you're a Cardano fan, you have a bunch of ADA, you could download a Daedalus wallet and you can store your ADA in there. Not only that, you could also stake. So this is how a lot of projects, the staking mechanism is done through their wallet. So either you download a software and it's called a node and you could stake within there, or you could do it through their wallet, right? So there's a lot of native wallets out there too. And the biggest benefit is if it allows staking, then allows you to earn rewards, and also some allow you to participate in governance things. So if there is some kind of big decision that you can vote on, right? Most likely it's going to require you to stake in an X amount of tokens for you to participate. So there are side benefits to that. And there's nothing wrong with this. These are non-custodial usually, and they give you a recovery phrase or file, and you could just store and safely secure, right? So that is like kind of like the last option, is just a native wallet that is provided by the project. And sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes these universal wallets, because the project is too new or they just released their own chain and it's not supported by anyone else, well, then you have no option but to do that, because let's say Trust Wallet or Coinbase Wallet or even hardware wallets like Ledger and Treasure, they just don't support a new chain. It's just too new, right? So then you have no choice but to use like the native wallet, right? So that's pretty much it. That's going through basically all the different types. Again, there's a lot more out there, but these are like the most popular ones, the ones I've used. So number one is if you're using something like exchange, like Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, yes, they provide you a wallet, very easy to use. You must turn on 2FA right away, right? And it's okay. It's okay if you're just getting started. But the best thing to do is to take it out afterwards. That way you don't have to worry about account suspensions, terminations, and your account, locking up your crypto. And you're just worry free when you control your own crypto. But keep in mind, when you do control your own crypto on your own wallet, you better safeguard that recovery phrase, seed phrase, your recovery file, because if you lose that or a hacker gets access to it, then they will access your crypto and there is no recourse. You will not get that back. But the most secure, the cold wallets, Treasure and Ledger, these are the most secure out there. And then you have like the in-betweens, like the mobile wallets, the mobile universal wallet, like Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, which is also very, very good. Then you have the basic stuff like MyEther wallet, paper wallets, which just prints out like the private key for you. And then also MetaMask, which is built into the browser. And there's like different kind of browser-based wallets too. And then finally you have you have native wallets from the projects themselves.